Good morning, everyone. It's May 14th, 2024. Before I get into the main part of the video that I want to talk about on affordable housing, I just wanted to say how successful our community cleanup was as a small follow-up to my previous video there. That in total, we collected 90 bags. You can see some of the bags that were lined up in my video on the street, but we collected 90 bags. A few garbage bags, but most of it was leaf bags, and we particularly concentrated on the children's playground as well as a splash pad because there was such a thick layer of leaves there that you couldn't see the ground period or what was in the leaves. So we made sure that it was clean, there was no needles, and it was very successful. So we've managed to clean that up, and it's looking very good for the summer now for the kids. They're going to be able to enjoy, hopefully, a safe summer. And if anything is dropped on the ground, it can now be seen. And we're very, very happy with what we did as a community to work together. And it was a team effort. And that's the way we do things, is with a team effort. I know that we were doing it in groups, raking the leaves. I had a wonderful mother and daughter. While I was raking the leaves, they were picking up and putting them in the bags as well. So it was a very successful day and an enjoyable day, and we had a lot of fun. It was like we had our own little party going there in the playground, and there was dozens of people helping us clean up the playground areas. Particularly, we concentrated on it as the day before the city had come along and tried to clean up the park as well. So it was a very successful day, and so I just wanted to briefly talk about that for a minute. And now I want to go on to the affordable housing. Now, I didn't get a chance to get back to this, but at the beginning of the month, I had that meeting on affordable housing with the Alliance to End Homeless here in Ottawa. And so I didn't get a chance to talk about it too much, but we had one of our local members of the federal parliament came in to talk to us about the new federal budget that came out and what their plans were in that for the affordable housing. And it was a very interesting meeting. I voted for this particular MP before because he's from Ottawa Centre. I used to live basically in Ottawa Centre. He's worked at all three levels of government, so he understands. And even the building that we go to talk with our meetings out of was a building that was built with his help years ago. So we found out some interesting facts from him about the federal government, and that was it's been 30 years since substantial housing funding has been given out by the government, and that's all governments, and that's particularly, of course, it goes back between the Liberals and the Conservatives. Now the Liberals have put out forth their plan, and it's looking good. Hopefully we can get a chance to put this forward. But what he's been talking about and what they've been talking about now is one of the things is leasing out federal land and federal buildings for affordable housing. And the reason behind this is if the government does this, since it's, let's say that they lease it out for 50 years, just as an example. It might be 99 years. But it's owned by the taxpayers. These federal buildings are through taxpayers' money, so we are really the landlords, and the federal government manages our federal lands, and that are our lands. So this is why it might be better to keep them, in a sense, as a landlord, because they want to do this with groups of people to try and keep it into affordable housing, and this is one way of it not switching hands constantly, the building and rent evictions and all these other things that are happening in our buildings. They want to keep it at affordable rent and as publicly owned in a sense, because it is taxpayers' money, that this would be one very substantial way of doing it. So that was really, really good. And they're also working with the municipal government to support the affordable housing. And this is because they're having a lot of problems with the provincial government not cooperating with them as well. So they're just going to skip the provincial government and working with the mayors and the municipal governments right now to try and work with it, because somebody's always got to put the wrench in the wheel, and right now it seems to be the provincial government, because they're not agreeing with the four rentals put on each property, and that's rather than just a single family home. Now there's no other way. This is one of the ways that we can keep it low rentals, so that we don't have all these high-rise condos that are going up as well all over the place. But this would be one way of helping out. And let's see. And then, of course, they're also, the government, he was explaining, was putting out low-interest loans, which is going to be much better, so that it's people who need the loans that are doing the affordable housing can get loans at a much better rate than the banks or anywhere else. So this will be helpful for when you're looking at affordable housing and possibly leasing to the landlords. So that would be good if the government owned the buildings, if they're giving out low interest loans, so that the money gets turned back, more money gets turned back into more affordable housing if you have low interest loans, because that means extra interest you save on that could go towards more affordable housing. And the other thing I found out, which was brought up at the meeting, was something about called seed money. Never heard of it before. Not sure exactly how it's funded, but I was told that there was seed money that became available for the month of March, and you had to get in for these people who were trying to go for the affordable housing, and it closed after a month to try and get the seed money. So this was one of the things that they asked, if he could check our federal MPP here in Ottawa Centre, could check with the federal government and see if there was any way that the federal government could also put in place a program for the seed money, so that this would be a regular thing, that we wouldn't have to worry about anything happening, and we'd have money to start. The seed money is something like, from what I understand, is stuff that's not paid for when you're looking into affordable housing, such as paying the surveyor or paying the engineer to see, like, let's say you have a building already on it, the property, and you want to make sure that it's structurally safe, or do you have to bring the building down and start from scratch? So these are what I wanted to catch up with you on from the beginning of the month, but just didn't get a chance. There's been so much going on here. But again, we have the federal government, and pretty soon we're going to be having an election ourselves, with just over the horizon next year for the federal government. So it's could another election may upset the apple cart, as the old expression goes, and hopefully that we can stay the course, because I know they've put it in plans, and the only way to find out if these plans are going to work is to stay the course and go with the government that's in position right now for another 4 years, to see if they can come up with it, because I understand they were just talking about affordable housing prior to the pandemic. But certainly, as everyone knows, the pandemic really upset the apple cart. And right now, with between what's going on in the States with their election and with our possible election, to me, what the adults told me when I was little, sometimes it's better to stay the course. And I'm very thankful that we are in a democratic society. And if you're really serious about homelessness, I think we have to really, really stop and think about where our vote is really going to count. And I'm really glad we are in a democratic society that we live in, and we have a vote in this. So I think our next election as well is going to be counting definitely for everyone, and how we're going to guide our future as well in this country. And certainly living all together in peace is one of the most important things we have, in making sure that everyone has housing. And that's the way we start, from the ground up, and everyone needs a place to live, so that we can manage and support and do all the different things that we need to do to support our society once everyone has a roof over their heads. So I just want to leave this where it is today, and please be safe. Definitely watch your surroundings, and we'll talk to you again soon. Okay? Bye-bye. Take care.